Well, Kevin, I think you're just looking great. You're ready to go. I think you're in great shape to MC this event. I mean, all your vital signs look great. Your blood pressure's gone down. Your cholesterol's gone down. Let's check your reflexes. Well, I'll say they're fine too. And you've even lost a few pounds.
Yeah, you're looking mighty fine, Kevin.
I gotta ask you, what's going on? What have you been doing?
Oh, well, doctor, as much as I love to see you, you actually have had nothing to do with my success. It is all because I've gone blue. And who's all going blue with me? How about a nice hand for Doctors Tom and Wendy here tonight? Great to have them here. And one more time, how about a nice hand for the Spencer Chamber Choir and the Spencer YMCA preschoolers? What a great way to kick off the evening. This is such an exciting night for Spencer, Iowa. If you could remember, a little over a year ago, we heard the words Blue Zones for the very first time. And we all said, well, what does that mean, Blue Zones? And of course, it means to live a longer, happier, healthier life. And it all started by everybody in the community coming together and voting online. And then the site visit earlier in the year. And we had our interview, I guess, if you will. And guess what? As we always do in the town of Spencer, when we put our mind to something, not only can we achieve it, but we go above and beyond. And now, it all begins tonight. We actually become an official Blue Zones demonstration site. So congratulations, Spencer, Iowa. You know, we have a lot of exciting things happening tonight. We have a number of prizes we are going to be giving away. Also, the man that wrote the book, and I do mean literally wrote the book, Dan Buettner is here. We're going to hear from him. Also, a man that took a walking tour of Spencer earlier today. We are going to hear his official report, and that'll be coming up shortly, and that is by Mr. Dan Burton. So we have a fun evening. As many of you know, Wellmark is sponsoring the Blue Zones project in Iowa. And right now, I would like to welcome a representative of Wellmark to the stage. She is Executive Vice President of Healthcare Strategy and Policy for Wellmark, Mrs. Laura Jackson.
Good evening, Spencer. So first of all, what I have to tell you is I came with a couple of prepared comments just to spend like 2 minutes to say a few words. But I have to start with I am completely blown away by this town. And I was going to talk about why Wellmark. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I was going to take you back and at least let you know why Wellmark wanted to bring the Blue Zones to Iowa, but it is so clear to me that you already get it. So first of all, you have kids, and I know that you want a better place for them in the future. You want them to live longer, healthier lives, and you want to be here to enjoy them. You clearly get that. You have adorable children, I might add. And secondly, when we really looked at this, what you just demonstrated up here with a very quick skit is exactly why we wanted to bring Blue Zones to Iowa. So when you think about healthcare costs and really helping people live longer, healthier lives, it's not about after you get sick. It's about trying to prevent you from getting sick. And again, clearly, you guys already get that. So we are so delighted to see a community like this rally around a concept that was truly just a vision for Wellmark a couple of years ago. We didn't know exactly how this was going to come off. We didn't know who was going to be interested. But clearly, we found passion in this community. And we can't thank you enough for taking this seriously, making it your own, and we really want to genuinely congratulate you on all the work you've done to get to this point. So congratulations, but you didn't come here tonight to hear me. You actually probably came to hear the two Dans. Have you guys heard that phrase before, the two Dans, or Dan squared, or Dan times two? So really the next person I'd like to introduce is someone that I have, first of all, the first time I met him, he was delightful to meet. He has passion, he has energy, and he is nonstop. And he always is in pursuit of finding something to make something better. But he's pretty amazing in the passion that he has around Blue Zones. And so getting to know Dan Buettner, he's a National Geographic researcher, explorer, but he has also become a good friend to us, and he is an amazing colleague to be passionate about bringing this to Iowa. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Dan Buettner. Have a great night, Spencer.
What a thrill. You know, it was almost exactly 1 year ago right now when I got an email. I don't even remember who it was from, but I opened it up, I clicked on it, and here's this lovely 12-year-old girl, her name is Katie Simpson, playing a guitar, playing this beautiful song, and while other girls who are 12 years old are singing about Twitter and Facebook, she was talking about wanting to raise her family in a town called Spencer. And I said, if that's what 12-year-olds sing about, I want to see this town. So I think it's almost divine intervention that I'm here tonight. And we have an amazing lineup, and you heard the Dan squared. I'm the little Dan. The big Dan is coming after me. Dan Burden is one of the greatest civic visionaries in the world. He's been recognized by Time magazine. But we share a lot of things in common. First of all, our names are the same. Our last names start with the same initial. We both work for National Geographic. And perhaps most interestingly, we both started our careers bicycling. We both bicycled from Prudhoe Bay, Alaska to Tierra del Fuego, Argentina. 15,536 miles, which may sound impressive, but if you've ever seen a globe, you know it's all downhill. So my talk has two parts. First, I'm going to quickly introduce you to some of the Bluezones and suggest some lessons that might be useful for us. But the bigger part of the presentation has to do with how do you actually put it to work in a place like Spencer? How do you put it to work in populations? Something called the Danish Twin Study established that only about 20% of how long the average person lives is dictated by genes. The other 80% is dictated by two things: lifestyle and environment. So if that's true, a decade ago, working with National Geographic, and Joel, maybe, can you plug that? Or maybe it's, I guess I could just stand here. Oh, look at that. See, it takes Joel Spoonheim. He fixes everything. So working with National Geographic, we found 5 little pockets around the world where people were living to age 100 at rates sometimes 10 times greater than Americans. They live an extra 10 years, and they have a fraction of the rate of heart disease and cancer. In other words, they're achieving what most of us would like. So we put together a team of experts to go to each of these places and distill down exactly what they're doing. And we found that no matter if you go to Okinawa or Sardinia, Italy, or right here at Loma Linda, California, you see the same 9 things happening over and over and over again that seem to explain this extraordinary longevity. We found our first blue zone about 125 miles off the coast of Italy on the island of Sardinia. Up here in the highlands, where you see that blue bullseye, there's an area of 42,000 people, 12 whitewashed villages, where you see more 100-year-olds than any place else in the world. Guys who make it to 102 and are still riding their bikes, chopping wood at 104, and still can beat a guy 65 years younger than him in an arm wrestle. And they start their day with a glass of red wine. Go figure. This is a land of mostly of shepherds, people who don't run marathons or do triathlons, regular low-intensity physical activity, mostly walking. They eat a plant-based diet with a little bit of pork, usually Sunday afternoons. But most importantly, they have an attitude towards aging that's vastly different than it is in most places in America. In America, we tend to celebrate youth. Here, the older you get, the more celebrated you are. And almost in every case, people in Sardinia keep their aging parents very nearby so that they can utilize the wisdom